And we are live from New York. It's Saturday night. Sorry, still getting stuff set up. I worked up here earlier this week, so I moved some stuff around, and now my phone just went blue to let me know that we're live. Thanks, phone. So, we're continuing in the, it's in the camera. Let's adjust it slightly that way. So we're continuing building characters that people might want to play in D&D. And this time we're tackling Legolas from Lord of the Rings. I feel like in terms of epic fantasy, Lord of the Rings, you don't get bigger than that, the world of fantasy. So, of course, we should try and build these biggest characters out of that. So let's do what we did with Gambit before. What are some of the things that Legolas, you kind of know about him? He's a bow fighter, expert tracker, can fight in close combat, can run a long ways. Personality-wise, I mean, it's the classic elf. Snobbish, but well-intentioned. He's a loyal friend. When you earn his trust. Crazy acrobatic. Amazing eyesight. So crazy acrobatic. The scene I'm thinking of from the movie is the one where he slides down on a shield. Like, that's crazy acrobatic. So when building Legolas, like, there are a few things that kind of stand out to me. Obviously, the bow work and the fact that he can use the bow anywhere, as well as, the just crazy stunts that he pulls off. So, let's start fleshing out Legolas here. Legolas, elf, and let's actually pull up his Wikipedia page here. Oh, I can actually see it right here is what I was looking for. He is a Sindarin elf of the Woodland Realm. Prince of the Woodland Realm. Bow, one long knife, Mirkwood bow. So that actually gives us a lot of stuff that we would want to know right there. Sorry, phone beeped again. And sorry, that was Kristen wondering something. But that gives us a lot of information about who Legolas is going to be right there. Elf. In particular, if I'm going to hit home, yes, a wood elf. Phineas papers. Let's move Phineas papers over here and look at our good old character races here. Halfling trait. So, automatically start out with +2 to Dex. And then age doesn't really matter that much. Alignment, neutral good, I would say. I would say for the elves in Lord of the Rings, they tend to be... They're like on that border between lawful and neutral good. I would give them lawful good because they seem to have like a very specific set of rules that they follow. However, neutral good because they're not really the first act ever. Like elves in Lord of the Rings kind of don't do that much. So we have dark vision of 60 feet, speed of 30, proficiency in perception, that is very elf-like. We're actually going to... even the Fey Ancestry is it kind of fits into the whole Lord of the Rings where the elves are nigh immortal and have come from over the sea. Against charm and can't be magicked to sleep. Trance, need 4 hours of rest for a long rest. They can speak Common and Elvish. And then if we flip to the Wood Elf, our Wisdom gets a +1 automatically, which I think makes a lot of sense. We have, let's see, long sword, short sword, longbow, short bow, short box, short bow. Our walking speed actually increases, which is good. And we have Mask of the Wild. You can attempt to hide even when lightly obscured. I think that makes a lot of sense. And well, let's fill in some numbers right now. Should close the book then. Really need to jot these down again so I have them out. So 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8. We're actually going to put the 14 in here, so it becomes 16, which means +3. Sorry, gotta test something. Caps lock became on. This is also going to be a +3 because we're going to have a 16 in our wisdom. Probably put our 8 in our strength. Constitution 12, intelligence 13, 12, 13, and charisma is just a 10. Legolas is not, in comparison to some of the other creatures, is way less likable. He has the standard elf thing, where, yeah, you're just not super likable. A little bit snobby. But he's not unlikable. I'm just thinking and trying to figure out, do I like this combo right now? And I think to start out with, it makes sense. I don't think it makes a ton of sense to change it up from that in order to get it so that some of the stuff that he's better at in the long run is already higher. I think it makes sense to keep it there. Let's find the ranger. Rogue, so we have to be about there. And we are not going with... Actually, screw this. We have to go find some more Unearthed Arcana here. The original ranger was not great. Revised Ranger. Please tell me you have everything in here that we need. Yes. Okay, cool. So, first level. There we are. We are at 11 hit points. And we have 1 D10. Then we also gain proficiencies with light armor, medium armor, simple weapons, and martial weapons. And then finally, simple and martial weapons. Yep, that looks right to me. Strength and Dex are 2 saving throws. I think Nature and Survival will be the 2 that we pick from that list. Ranger 1. And so that's actually okay combo, because now we have a +1 to our strength saving throw, +5 to our dex, which is probably the most common generally when you play, when you're not around spell slingers anyways. And then wisdom's the next most common. So we don't have any negatives in that, which is pretty nice. So then, as we build up Legolas here, let's flip back. We're not going to pick any starting equipment. So here's the interesting thing. In D&D, Rangers get spells. Legolas doesn't have spells. So, to really build Legolas, you might want to work with your DM. Be like, every 4 spells known. So, like, that's would be twice. At level 13 and level 5, you gain a feat or something like that. Figure out what makes sense to do. Or you gain like half an ability score increase. By that I mean normally you get to add 2 to one thing or 1 to 2 things. And in this case, maybe it's just that you add 1 to one thing. I kind of like that. Keeps you free from becoming too overpowered, but also doesn't hinder you in the fact that you're not getting spells. I might just go with the no, I don't love ability score improve, like a full ability score improvement there, because they get it at 4th, 8th, 12th, 16th, and 19th. And yeah, I just don't love it. So let's see. If we do every 4, so we could actually maybe say 6th and 14th. 6th and 14th, you gain, instead of having spells, you get the boost of a feat. Yeah, we're going to try that, see what that looks like. Or we just drop spells because... no, you get a boost of a feat. There. So let's scroll, and favored enemy. Beast, Fae, humanoids, monstrosities, or undead. We get a +2 bonus on damage rolls with weapon attacks against a creature of your chosen type. Addition, we have advantage on survival checks around our favored enemy. So, and we get to learn language. Goblinoid is definitely what it is. Favorite enemy. So favorite enemy used to be, here it says you choose one of these types: beasts, fae, humanoids, monstrosities, or undead. Used to be like you would pick Dargon. Not nearly as good. And for Legolas, favorite enemy, humanoid. Get +2 damage against FE, favorite enemy. And on survival and tracking, FE. I think that makes sense. Let me fill in some numbers here. It's bugging me not to have them filled in. So +3 to that, +6 to our perception, which gives us insane, and that's wisdom based as well. +6. We're not necessarily, we have to get acrobatics somehow at some point in time. Like that's one that makes a lot of sense for him to have, but I also don't want to just hand them out. And like acrobatics isn't even an option here. Maybe that's what I might do. I might, instead of giving a feat, give a bonus proficiency. Like you can either do it with a tool, a weapon, or on the character or on the skill list. Yeah, I kind of like that better actually, because otherwise there's the chance with feats, especially with picking stuff, that you would get way too powerful in a game. We also have Natural Explorer. You're a master of the natural world. You can ignore difficult terrain, advantage on initiative rolls, and advantage against creatures that have not yet attacked. Difficult terrain, doesn't slow your group down. Can't become lost except by magical means. Remain alert to danger, so like you don't get distracted as easily. So let's do Natural Explorer. Ignore difficult terrain. Advantage on initiative. Which means you're really rarely going to be going, late in a competition or in a battle, because right now with the +3 to initiative, you're sitting at on average probably being rolling no lower than a 15. Well, not necessarily just about on average, I would say. No lower than 15. And attacks first turn against enemies that haven't gone. I'm going to leave a lot of these bigger effects right here, because I don't think they make a ton of sense. So our fighting style is obviously going to be, let's do fighting style, archery, +2. So this is second level. On attack rolls, we're just going to go and level him up to level 2 right now, before we do backgrounds, because Legolas without that really isn't Legolas. I mean, he'd still be good. Oof. Lightweight right now. Solid 13 hit points. So, as we hop back, we look at, do we get anything else at second level? And spellcasting. We get spellcasting, which we're ignoring. Just again, it doesn't make sense for Legolas. Like maybe some magical spell resistance, but not spell casting. But Ranger, a lot of Ranger makes a lot of sense. However, we might swap over to Fighter at some point in time. If we do, that's going to be in the second video. Since most likely this is going to be a two-parter. Oops. Switching up the name. Legolas. Part 1. Probably shouldn't still say Gambit. So we're ignoring our spellcasting, which means I nerfed us a little bit right here. I could say, well, instead of getting spellcasting, I like my plan of just giving us 2 extra proficiencies as we go. But let's actually hop back here, because we haven't given Legless Gear yet, and we haven't selected his background. For that, we probably want to hop back here. Let's look at Legolas in Wikipedia. He's the son of a king. That's what I wanted to see. I thought he was, but I couldn't remember for sure. So I didn't go high elf because I do think they're more wood elves. But now, once I find it, backgrounds, he is going to have the noble background, which gives him knowledge of history, which I think makes sense, and persuasion, which can make sense. He gets He gets Gimli to do some stuff. Gold pieces, he probably is carrying more than most of the characters would be. And position of privilege. You are welcome in high society. That characteristic still makes a lot of sense. Keep. He also gains another language, Dwarvish. Let's see. Personality traits. I am not loving any of these. Let's go back to the list here. Snobbish but well-intentioned is actually kind of a good personality trait for Legolas. Ideals. Is my duty... Yeah, this one is good. It is my duty to protect the people below me. Bonds. Nothing is more important than having pure motivations. Doesn't really work for that. It's almost the second one of these. I'll not let my people down. Let's see. Nothing is more important to me than the people of my kingdom. Why would he go out adventuring? Because he has to save the world. Flaws. Flaws, I'm actually going to pull from here again. It kind of comes down to that snobbish thing again. He mainly thinks he's better than dwarves. Like, there is a strong sense of elitism that goes on in the world of elves. Let's get Legolas armored up here. He has leather armor. Longbow. longbow. 50 arrows. Never runs out. Infinite arrows. And long knife. The spread. So longbow is the primary thing. Long knife does not exist. But he is proficient with it. And it's based off of the scimitar. So it does 1d6 plus 3 slashing. And the longbow does 1d8 plus 3 piercing. And I'm going to go arrows. Oop. Sorry. Like, arrows aren't a weapon in this book. That is true. Arrows are not a weapon in Dungeons & Dragons. The weapon that you shoot them with is... these are handheld arrows. He's going to just get his dexterity to it. It's going to be 1d4 plus 3 damage. He's not proficient with arrows, but he can deal damage with them in a pinch in his hands. He would probably have an explorer's pack. And I think he does have some fine clothing, I would say. All right. So let's continue building him a little bit more. We're at just about half an hour right now. I like to keep it at 45 minutes to an hour. Or I do now. Anyways. So let's bring him up a level, which gives us Primeval Awareness. See, what does this do? At the beginning at 3rd level, your mastery of ranger lore allows you to establish a powerful link with beasts and to the land around you. You have innate ability to communicate with beasts, and they recognize you as a kindred spirit. Through sounds and gestures, you can communicate simple ideas to beasts as an action and can read their moods and intent. You learn its emotional state, whether it is affected by magic of any sort, its short-term needs, and what you might be able to do to keep it from attacking you. In addition, you can determine if any of your favorite enemies are nearby, within 5 miles of you. And you kind of know something about each group. I like that. Can tell how creatures are doing and if they are friendly. Let's change that. Beasts. Know how many groups and where they are of FE after 1 minute of concentrating. 5-mile range. There's more stuff in there, but I'm pulling out what I consider the most important stuff. Oh yeah, let's give him some more hit points. Better this time, so he'll be at a solid 20. A little bit low, but it's all about rolling them dice. And let's get to these ranger conclaves. He is not a beast conclave. He does not have an animal companion. He is definitely a hunter conclave. Legolas is just impressive. With this. Is he a Colossus Slayer or a Horde Breaker? So, my reasoning for Colossus Slayer is he takes down the elephants. My reason for Horde Breaker is he just does massive amounts of damage and takes out so many creatures. Sorry, somebody's shoveling in the backyard. Or back alleyway. Shoveling snow into the back alleyway, which I'm pretty sure they're not supposed to do. But Horde Breaker, once on each of your turns, when you make a weapon attack, you can make another weapon attack with the same weapon against a different creature that's within 5 feet of the original target within range. Yeah, that's the one to me. So, let's see. Horde Breaker can make additional attack against creature in 5 feet of first creature when once per turn. And it's just when you make a weapon attack too. So since I feel like Legolas, yeah, I think so. So like hordes of goblins, he's swinging away, or he's firing away at the hordes of goblins. He has +2 to hit because of his sorry. He has +2 to hit because of his ability to his favorite enemy. So he's looking at +7 to hit. So +7 to hit, he shoots one goblin. Or no, it's +7 or +2 to damage. So +5 to hit and +5 to damage. So probably can take out a goblin. Then shoots again, takes out another goblin. That seems like Legolas. And at 5th level, he gets an extra attack, which means he can shoot 3 times on his turn, if I'm reading this correctly. It sounds like I am. So, yeah, I'm digging it. I'm digging it this far. Level 4, I get an ability score increase. I'm just going to take this to 10. 0, get a +2 there. Now, there are some feats that I want to take for Legolas, in particular the sharpshooter feat. Anything that's going to help him become the insane archer that he's supposed to be. But I'm not here at 4th level ranger just because he needs that strength bump to really be Legolas-like. So we're at 25. 4th level ranger. Let's hop up to 5th. Ooh, much better. 34. None of these are strength-based that I have filled in here. Ooh. Sorry. Too far. There we are. So at 5th level, we're going to put it in here. Extra attack per round. There's our 3 attacks. Now at this point in time, let's hop back here and kind of look what's coming up. Escape the horde. Opportunity attacks against you have disadvantage. Multi-attack defense. When a creature hits you with attack, you gain +4 bonus AC against all subsequent attacks made by that creature. Steel Will. You have advantage. He has Steel Will. But we do get something at 6th level? Let's roll up. Greater Favored Enemy. Aberrations, Celestials, Constructs, Dragons, Elementals, Fiends, or Giants. But it's 4. What will you give him? Like, we can choose, here we're choosing from the more specific groups. Dragons. Celestials, Constructs don't make that much sense. Sauron's a fiend. Yeah, Sauron's a fiend. Yeah, that sounds good to me. Greater Fiends. +4 damage against GFEs. So that takes us to level 6, by the way. So I need to roll again. 4 or 38. And level 6 is where he gets that extra proficiency bonus that I'm giving him. It's going to come in this. Actually, I think this is +3 now. So we can bump up some of this information. +7 on that. +4 on that. +4 there. +7 on perception. +3 on persuasion. +7 on survival. This also becomes a 6. A 6. Arrow still remains a 3. They're arrows. It should be harder for him. It doesn't necessarily seem to be, but they're arrows. I don't want to necessarily make it like, oh, well, I'm just going to run around stabbing people with arrows. That's kind of silly. That's not what Legolas does. So, let's see. Finally, let's see, 45 minutes. We'll go for a little bit longer here. So, level 7. Have advantage against being frightened. That's, to me, is very Legolas. Sorry. Like, this happens fairly often to me. Let's just double check and see where, as Legolas, we get to. Yeah. So we're at 3 now. And then 8th level. I don't even know why that's installed. I don't know what it does. 8th level, we get Fleet of Foot. Dash is a bonus action. Think there'll be room for it. Fleet of Foot. Dash as bonus action. As well as we can increase 2 scores. However, we're not going to do that. We're going to hop over here to this page. Additional features and traits. Because we need to get Legolas really cranking with the bow. I just want to see what we got here. Alert. +5 to initiative. Can't be surprised. Crossbow expert. You can shoot people up close. So I might change crossbow expert for just a regular bow, because there's always a downside of shooting when somebody's next to you. They can take a swipe at you, which doesn't happen to Legolas. Now most of the time that's probably because he's killed them. So I might go instead and just start right here with where is it? Sharpshooter. Attacking at long range doesn't impose disadvantage. You can ignore cover. Can choose to take a -5 penalty to an attack for a hit. That's going to be the first one. Sharpshooter. Attacking at long range doesn't impose this. Let's see. You ignore half and 3/4 cover, and can take -5 to hit for +10 damage. And in a game, if you're playing Legolas and you're playing in the world of Lord of the Rings, Legolas is taking the sharpshooter option most of the time. Like, he is doing the -5 to hit for that +10 damage. Let's see, I have books. Give me a second, I'm going to grab a book. And back upright. Return your cats to an upright position. So, let's see. Gnolls. We can close to goblins then. So, a goblin has 7 hit points. Legolas can, with a 15 armor class, he probably can kill him without it. But, or let's see. Let's just look at, because I am going to improve his ability to hit stuff as things go on. He is, like, he's kind of that crowd control character. Let's see, and we have orcs back here. Again, humanoids. Orcs have an armor class of 13. If he takes the -5 penalty to hit, he still might hit, and then it makes it really likely that he'll just kill straight out the orc, which makes a lot of sense for Legolas. And let's continue a little bit more. That's at 8th. So at 9th level, they get nothing. But 10th, well, besides the proficiency bump, at 10th, hide it in plain sight. So let's add that. Hide in plain sight. So hide in plain sight is if you hide and don't move, and you haven't moved, they get -10 through their perception. Not bad. Hide in plain sight. If you hide and don't move on your turn, creatures get -10. -10 to perception check to find ya. I think that fits well enough for Legolas. So we have +4, super +4. So that's actually +4. That's a +7. +8. Why would that be a +8? That wouldn't be a +8. 4 + 3 is +7. History, we get +5. Nature, +5. Perception stays as a +7 because I got it wrong before. Persuasion comes a +4. Survival stays at +7. But now you're starting to see where a -5 to hit as a sharpshooter, you still have +2 to that. And if he's fighting against the humanoid, that's another +2. So it's +4 whilst and doing 10 extra damage when you're going to average to start out with 8 points of damage. 7 to 8 points of damage on your turn. So I think that is going to be where I wrap up tonight. We have a good base for Legolas here. And now I need the time to think about this. Let's see. Oh, hold on. We took him up through 10, correct? Or incorrect? 10, yes. So I need to roll a few more times. Let's actually redo his hit dice. So D&D dice roller. Thank you, wizards. This looks so ugly, but it's really nice. So D10, I want to roll 9 of them. Modifier 9. Roll 54. So 54 plus 11 is 65. 65 hit points, halfway up. Let's do this. Commands. Save as. Let's see. Desktop. Streaming characters. And this is just going to be Legolas. So there we are. We have Legolas half completed. I have to decide if I want to use a fighting or go with fighter for him, just because he is so good with his knife that it almost seems like I should give him some sort of additional help with that, because yeah, oh my goodness, he is just a straight up murdering machine, this Legolas build thus far. Now it's level 10, so it's, you kind of want to be. The guys you fight either have lots of hit points or higher armor classes, so he is built very well for that. So with that, I'm going to wrap up for tonight. I will be back probably next Tuesday. I don't know about this upcoming Thursday to wrap up Legolas, but if I can, I will be back on Thursday. And in the meantime, check out Nerdologists.com. I'm going to start posting some of these videos, YouTube link these videos to there, just to see if we can get a little bit more traffic and hopefully get some people watching this live. With that,